Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mystic's MMOs. I am your host, Mystic Raven. All right, so I've been doing a lot of research and all this stuff because I'm learning Black Desert Online for PC, but it will be coming to console. 1 second, there we go. And today I want to talk about a very serious subject. There's a couple reasons I'm going to bring this up. Right, I'm going to bring this up because they are in development for console release. It has been, confirmed it will be coming out for console. It's supposed to be released for beta on Xbox in the fall. This fall coming up, they have beta signups for it. Kind of cool. And even though the game does have its problems, because every MMO does, there's one major reason that I'm going to talk about why BDO might end up being the nail in other console MMOs coffin. Be the nail in the coffin for other MMOs. Because, and this was kind of important, BDO is a very popular game throughout Asia. Especially in South Korea, in South Korea, because this is where it's developed, and it's a huge game. Like let's take a look at some of the positives here, and we'll get into some of the negatives. One of the major positives to this game, there is no zone loads. It's completely fucking open. This game is open. Like when you come into it, if you go into any other game, you go to a level zone, right? Which this game has that, right? It'll tell you on the map that there are level zones, right? So AP 9, 90 to whatever, or whatever. When you take a look at level 16 to 18 and level 30 to level 33. So there are designated areas for levels, but there's no zone for it. The world's completely open. Like completely open. And the performance that this game is dealing on my unit in comparison to other games is crazy, given the fact that it has such awesome graphics. So, it's to be commended as far as performance goes. Now, one of the major reasons that some players are going to take to this game and some players aren't. This game is very guild-oriented, right? It's all about the primary aspect of the guild. So I'm like trying to figure out what's all this stuff with like node wars and PvP, and I actually got to the manual here, and a lot of people don't get into this. So if you don't get into this aspect into BDO, you're not going to get in to the PvP, because if you try to PK somebody, you get negative karma and all these negative effects happen, unless you're involved in guild wars, which you can just do openly, which is cool. And then there are node wars and conquest wars. This is where the game shines. This is where the game starts taking off for a lot of guild PvPers. And up until this point, there's not a game currently on console that focuses on guilds in a PvP manner in such a way, right? That gives them the perks of victory as a guild. And that's what BDO is going to offer players on console. So currently, we have this in other games on PC, but console, we don't have this. We do not have guild-oriented PvP in this dynamics. And that's why this, for guild-oriented PvPers, is going to skyrocket. Now, let me explain this. Okay, so what is the perks of doing these node wars, right? That becomes the question. Why do I give a shit about BDO? And why do I give a shit about node wars? Well, here's the deal, guys. I'm going to scroll up here. Okay, node wars. Let's see if I can find it. Okay. There is a variety of PvP content in Black Desert, with 2 major events where all players in all guilds can participate. The Node War and the Conquest War. Anyone can freely join these wars regardless of their guild size or equipment specs. All you need now, this is kind of vaguely like, you know, because equipment and specs are kind of like important, but you could be on any size guild and participate. It's kind of saying, you know, that's not important if you want to participate, but this is kind of important in certain aspects to win. But all you need to do is work together with your teammates in harmony for victory. And bigger, you know, okay, it's promoting whatever. Most areas of the game world belongs to nodes. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what a node is, what is a node? It's a resource, right? It's how you gain resources in your game. Anywhere from gaining leather, alchemy material, mining, any type of material found in the world is what is called a node. Now, check this out. I'm going to go further. Node war is a battle to gain ownership of these nodes. Once the node is occupied, the occupying guild will retain the ownership for a week. There is no game that's giving this type of perk to the PvP on console currently. We see this in other games, some not exactly, but similar, like perks to guild warring, right, in other MMOs. And this is where this game's dynamic begins, right? Because receiving part of what you do is you're receiving part of a worldwide tax collection to do what? Fund your guild bank. So when nodes are taken, they're taxed, and when they're taxed, that is going to the guild bank. That is huge. It's a perk. It's a huge perk. And for these guilds that pull together and win these node wars, they're going to be dominant. Why? Because that is going back into the war campaign. Conquest war. Now, somebody did mention, somebody mentioned if you're going to get on console, you want to get in the beginning. Why? You want to get a guild in the beginning. Because when the guild that pulls together and starts the train roll is going to have dominance. Why? Because they have the resources, they have the money, they have everything going for them. Now, Conquest War, also known as Siege War, is a much bigger than a Node War in scale. Same concept, just bigger. Node War fights for a single node, but Conquest War fights for the sovereignty of a vast continent. The continent is referred to as a territory, and each territory has a number of nodes. If a guild occupies territory A, that means the guild has gained the honor of ruling A. Of course, let's not forget about the qualitative and quantitative growth of the guild coming from the massive amount of tax collections. That's what you're gaining for winning. Money. Cha-ching. With such rewards, you may ask yourself, is it difficult to participate in Node Wars and Conquest? In fact, it's very easy. So basically, you learn your days, right? You get forts. Your guild builds these forts in territories, right? And you're fighting over it. And once your team's knocked out, you're knocked out for the week. The last team standing during the week is victorious, right? That's the way it works. You know, this is how it goes down. And you see these videos with huge epic battles. I mean, talking massive battles in just the world of just like, they're fighting for it. They're building like defensive structures. They're building, they're getting, you know, war elephants, all sorts of stuff. It's pretty impressive, to say the least. But if you're not going to be a large-scale PvPer, it's not going to benefit you in your guild. You're going to be a guild PvPer. And if you're a guild PvPer and you're looking for this type of large-scale battles, well, what other game currently is giving those perks on console? PC, we can name off a bunch. We can name off a few. But console, right now, there is nothing in there in this dynamic. There's nothing in this dynamic. And that could end up costing other MMOs if players are looking for this type of gameplay. That's where it begins. Because they don't have the Holy Trinity in the aspect of healer, tank, DPS. The Trinity goes front line, flank, and rear. So when you take a look at the classes, there are unbalanced issues. There are definitely issues in the game. Every game has it. But this is where Black Desert Online is going to shine, not only on the PC and where it gains its notoriety, but when it's ported to console now it's offering something unique and diverse to the players. Now, the problem with Black Desert are upgrades. So a lot of people will say upgrades, replacements, and life skills. Life skill farming and skill point farming is very tedious in this game. So it's not going to be meant for casual players. A lot of casual players will struggle. They'll still be able to enjoy the game and get involved in the guild war, the node wars, which is really good. So it still offers something for the casual players, but it's not going to be as productive for the hardcore players. The hardcore players are going to get more out of it. Why? Because they're investing more time. And when they do that, you want to kind of get with a group or a player that's putting in that time. Why? Because you're affiliated with that guild, and that's going to reap benefits. So this is pretty impressive, to say the least. You can go to Black Desert Foundry, and it has all this information. So if you're a console player and you're looking to get into this, I would suggest doing the research, right? Do the research to see if this game is going to be for you. But as far as what it's going to offer, that's kind of the perks right now. And for me personally, I love large-scale battles. I love the large-scale battles. I love the reward system they've implemented in the game and what it's pushing for players. Now, there can be some downsides to that. Like I said, a guild that's already has domination, has resources, and has money are going to be able to re-up a lot faster. Plus, they're going to be able to have a better recruitment experience. Why? Because they're already owning the territory. So players who already know that this guild runs the territory are more than likely going to associate with that guild. So it makes recruitment a lot easier for that guild when they need troops. And that's the whole idea, is winners will go ahead and gain the people who want to be affiliated. So there are some downsides to that. So even though smaller guilds can probably get involved, I don't feel like they have somewhat of an advantage to defend their territory in order to win the campaign. So, you know, just food for thought. There are positives and there are negatives. But once again, why is this going to be a threat to some console MMOs? It's just simply what it's offering the PvPers. It's simply, if you're a solo player, this isn't going to be a game for you. Why? Because you're going to PK somebody, you're going to get negative karma, and then all of a sudden you have to grind it out. You're going to have a terrible experience in this game if you're a solo PvPer. If you're a group-oriented PvPer, though, all of a sudden it takes a life of its own. You can declare guild war, you can get involved in node wars, you can get involved in conquest, and then it becomes a little bit more substantial for you. And that's where it's going to, you know, have its benefits. So there you guys have it. My food, you know, just my opinion, why this game is going to be a threat for the upcoming console MMOs. And I'm really looking forward to it. Is it going to be all that? No game is. Every game has issues. And Black Desert Online isn't without theirs. But there will be players looking to get involved in this. And I can't wait to see what it will yield in the upcoming months during its development. So just take it for what it's worth. I'm Mystic Raven. This is Mystic MMOs. Thank you guys for watching. And once again and always, have a nice day.